Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Ravi Prakash Mishra, organizing a one-day workshop on from theory to practice applying Bloom's taxonomy in the classroom. Pathak sir, are you ready to start? Okay, dear friend, in the ever-evolving landscape of education, effective teaching methodologies play a vital role in shaping students' learning experiences and fostering their intellectual growth. To equip educators with the tools and strategies necessary to create engaging and impactful learning environment. The Research and Development Cell of Cordia Group of Educational Institutes Sangol is proud to present a workshop on From Theory to Practice Applying Bloom's Taxonomy in the Classroom. This workshop is designed to delve into the intricacies of Bloom's taxonomy, a hierarchical framework that classifies educational learning objectives into the different level of complexity and specificity. By understanding and applying Bloom's taxonomy, educators can design learning activities, assessments, and instructional materials that promote higher order thinking skills and facilitate deeper understanding among the students. Dear friends, this workshop will be led by esteemed Professor Dr. Anand Prakash Pathak, sir, a renowned expert in the field of education and pedagogy. With a wealth of experience and a deep understanding of Bloom's taxonomy, Professor Pathak will guide participants through the theoretical underpinning of the framework and its practical application in the classroom. His expertise and insights will provide valuable guidance to educators seeking to enhance their teaching practices. The primary objective of this workshop are to introduce participants to the foundational concept of Bloom's taxonomy and its relevance in the contemporary education, to explore the six cognitive domains of Bloom taxonomy, that is, remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. To provide practical strategies for incorporating Bloom's taxonomy into lesson planning, instructional design, and assessment development. To engage participants in interactive activities and discussions to facilitate a deeper understanding of Bloom taxonomy and its application in diverse classroom settings. To empower educators to create learning experience that foster critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity among students. So, dear friend, on behalf of Cordia Group of Educational Institute, welcome to Professor Pathak sir for delivering his lecture. Over to you, Pathak sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. पाठक सर कुछ टेक्निकल ग्लिच की वजह से दोबारा ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, उनकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है, तो सारे लोग प्लीज वेट कर लीजिए 1 मिनट।
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are.
Right. Thank you so much for confirmation. Before I start, I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Ravi Prakash Mishra, sir, the management of Cordia Group of Institutes, the Research and Development Cell, and all the faculty members who have taken their time out to be a part of this workshop. So I'm going to present my screen, and as because this is a workshop thing, so please ensure that you respond either by using your microphone, or you can even use the type facility in the Google chat so that we can discuss things out. Okay, so thank you once again, everyone. So the topic of our workshop today is From Theory to Practice, Applying Bloom's Taxonomy in the Classroom. My name is Anand Prakash Pathak. I'm heading the Institute of English at Amity University, Patna. So let us start this workshop. First of all, it is very important for us to understand that when we talk about Bloom's taxonomy or creating the program outcomes or program specific outcomes or even the course outcomes, it is important for us to understand what outcome based education is. So, outcome based education precisely is a student centered approach to teaching and learning where everything is measurable, right? So, that means whatever you teach in the classroom, it has to be delivered in such a way that we strike a balance between the content and the delivery, and at the same time, whatever we teach should be measurable and is measurable. So, four levels of outcomes as per outcome based education are program educational objectives, that is PEOs, program outcomes, POs, program specific outcomes, PSOs, and course outcomes, that is COs. So moving to the next slide, my first presentation is the first slide, which presents this outcome-based education, gives you a snapshot of what is the structure of outcome-based education. So let us understand that it covers multiple areas, right from highlighting the institutional mission and vision. In the coming slides, we will discuss what is mission, what is vision, and how they are important and how they could be integrated in our outcomes. Second is how to establish program educational objectives, then how to develop program learning outcomes, then how to create a curriculum map. Similarly, there are various phases like using rubrics, implementing changes and feedback, and then again coming back to the mission and vision. Now, my first question is, can anyone help me understand what is or what are vision statements? Over to you. Anyone from the faculty fraternity who has joined this workshop can help me understand how we define a vision statement. Anyone? You can unmute yourself and share your point. Anyone from the fraternity? Anyone who can shed some light on what are mission statements? Or anyone from the fraternity can help me understand what is the difference between vision and mission statement? Yes, anyone?
Sir, vision is actually the objective
Okay,
of a specific thing,
perfectly fine.
and mission is what we want to do in that specific course or something.
Right. So if I talk about your organization and I ask you that what is the mission and vision of your organization? So from in that context, how you are going to justify that what is the idea of your vision and your mission in terms of your organization?
I think a mission statement defines organization's business, its objective, and how it will reach these objectives. A vision statement details where the organization aspire to go in the future.
Fair enough. Perfectly fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So coming back to these points. Now, if I spell out the definition in a very layman term. So vision statements are organization's goal. That means where the organization wants to see itself in the near future, right? So what your organization wants to be maybe after a couple of years, maybe after 5 years or 10 years, or maybe after 15 years. So, and the ways to achieve this target, like my organization wants to be one of the premier organizations in terms of research and innovation. So if that is my vision, so mission statements would help the methodology or the strategy to achieve my vision, as rightly said by Ravi sir. So ideally, vision are broader statements where the organization wants to see itself, and mission statements are the ways to achieve it or achieve them. So they outline the main goals of an organization and the particular steps it takes to realize its vision. So this is mission statement. Now coming to outcome-based education. The first point, as I discussed in the first slide, that we have four options, four things rather. The first one is program educational objectives. Then we have program outcomes. Then we have program specific outcomes, and finally course outcomes. So first of all, please help me understand what are program educational objectives. Over to you, my dear faculty fraternity. Anyone amongst you who would like to shed some light on what are program educational objectives?
Sir, it is the aim of the course.
Okay. And how would you differentiate program educational objectives from program outcomes?
So outcomes is, for example, if we have a course and I can say outcomes is what the students learn from it.
Okay, very
Yes,
nice.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, right. Fair enough. So first of all, we need to understand the difference between objectives and outcomes. Okay, this is something really important because this is creating a lot of confusion amongst the teaching fraternity as well as the student fraternity. First of all, objectives are predefined. That means objectives are futuristic. Objectives are something which talk about future or the target, right, or the goal. And outcomes are something kind of what whether the objectives were achieved or not. That means when we talk about program objectives or course objectives or lesson objectives, so we talk about what we plan the students to achieve, what we think that the student should be achieving after the end of this course or this program. Now, when it comes to the term outcome, outcome is something which happens or takes place after the course is over. That means objectives is defined before the course begins, and outcomes are also defined before the course begins but are achieved only after the course ends. Right? So this is the basic difference between objectives and outcomes. Objectives talk about your plan, and outcomes talk about whether your plan was achieved or not. So that's the first thing. Now coming to program education objectives. So it alludes to overarching declarations outlining the professional and vocational objectives that students must meet during a given time period. So ideally, अगर मैं बहुत ही सिंपल तरीके से आपको समझाने की कोशिश करूं, तो इस प्रोग्राम एजुकेशनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स का मतलब ये होता है कि अगर एक स्टूडेंट आपके किसी प्रोग्राम का पार्ट है, तो उस प्रोग्राम के खत्म होने के बाद, मे बी आफ्टर 3, 4 or 5 years, what would be the state of that student in terms of learning? That means, for example, if a student has completed BSc Agriculture, if a student has completed BTech in Mechanical Engineering, or a student has completed BA Honors degree in English. So the program educational objectives, with the help of the stakeholders, would talk about after the program gets over, उसके 2-3 साल बाद एक स्टूडेंट किस पोजीशन पे है और वो किस स्थिति में है, वो क्या क्या लर्न कर चुका है और अपने प्रोफेशनल करियर में किन चीजों से आगे बढ़ सकता है. So it is about a program, and after the program gets over, once the student graduates, उसके बाद आने वाले 2-3 साल में वो क्या क्या अपने competencies, core competencies showcase कर सकता है. So this is program educational objectives. Please remember that this is created with the help of all the stakeholders from faculty, alumni, etc. and etc. So all the stakeholders come into picture while defining program educational objectives. So vision statements के बाद mission statements, mission के बाद आता है program educational objectives, जो बताता है एक प्रोग्राम खत्म होने के बाद एक स्टूडेंट जब वो प्रोग्राम कर लेता है उसके 2, 3 या 4 साल बाद उसकी कोर कॉम्पिटेंसीज क्या क्या हो सकती हैं. राइट. Now coming to the second part, this is program learning outcomes or program outcomes. So can anyone help me understand what are program outcomes? Over to you. Anyone from the fraternity?
Sir, like I am from the paramedical department.
Fair enough.
Like say, for example, my course is RIT radiology. So
Okay.
I will say that after completing the course, I will say outcomes means what the students have learned at the end, what they will be able to do at the end from the study they have done.
Okay. So ma'am, if I ask you one thing, how would you differentiate program educational objectives from program outcomes?
So aim is we have to teach them, I guess. We have to teach them about the RIT outcomes,
Okay.
what they learn about what they learn in the 3 years.
Exactly. So the basic difference would be.
I think your program outcomes are
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
program outcomes are statements that describe what students are expected to know, be able to do, or value by the time they complete a program. They
Right.
define the knowledge, skill, and abilities a graduate will acquire.
True, very true. And what about program educational objectives? So anyway, if I come to these two points, so as I mentioned earlier, that program educational objectives, they talk about students' core competencies after the program gets over, maybe after 3 or 4 or 5 years. Now, program outcomes are something that are achieved, that should ideally be achieved or should be displayed by the students, the core competencies, by the moment they complete a degree, they complete a program. So that is one of the major differences. So program learning ऑब्जेक्टिव्स जो होते हैं, एक स्टूडेंट जब एक प्रोग्राम को खत्म करता है, उसके 4-5 साल बाद वो क्या क्या कोर कॉम्पिटेंसीज डिस्प्ले करता है, उसको हम डिफाइन करते हैं प्रोग्राम एजुकेशनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स में. सो दे टॉक अबाउट आवर प्लान एंड स्टूडेंट्स कोर कॉम्पिटेंसीज आफ्टर they complete a particular degree, maybe after 4 or 5 years of completion of degree. Now, program learning outcomes or program outcomes are the core competencies, चाहे वो motor skill हो, चाहे वो आपके cognitive skills हो, वो बात करते हैं the moment a student is given a degree, the moment a student completes a program, then and there, what are the core competencies, the knowledge, the skill sets, the capabilities that the student would display. So this is called program outcome. So basic difference, जैसे आप लोगों ने सही बताया, एक मेजर डिफरेंस है कि प्रोग्राम लर्निंग ऑब्जेक्टिव बात करती है डिग्री खत्म होने के बाद 3-4 साल बाद एक स्टूडेंट क्या क्या चीजें डिस्प्ले करेगा कॉम्पिटेंसीज के बेसिस पे. And when it comes to program outcomes or program learning outcomes, this is something the moment a student completes a degree, graduates, उस मोमेंट पे उसके पास क्या क्या कोर कॉम्पिटेंसीज, क्या स्किल सेट्स और क्या क्या चीजें होंगी. So this is the major difference between these two. Now coming to the third one, program specific outcomes. Anyone from you would like to throw some light on how do you define program specific outcomes and how they are different from PEOs and POs? Anyone from you? Yes. How do you define program specific outcomes? Anyone who can help me understand the difference between program outcomes and program specific outcomes? Anyone from the fraternity would like to share something with regard to program outcomes and program specific outcomes? Okay, so let me go ahead. So program outcomes, as I said, they are elaborate points and which are expected out of our students that they should achieve after a program gets over. Now, when I say program, we also need to understand the keywords that we use in academics, like programs, courses, rubrics, etc. So program, when I say program, it could be a BA program. Okay. So BA program could be in economics, could be in English, could be in psychology. BSc could be in mathematics, could be in physics, could be in chemistry. So similarly, when we talk about BA as a program, BSc as a program, MTech as a program, BTech as a program. So program specific outcomes are specific to a particular program. For example, as per Washington Accord and NBA, there are 12 POs which are throughout, acceptable throughout. There are 12 POs for BTech, right? So it starts from engineering knowledge, etc., etc. Total number of 12 POs are already defined. Now, those 12 POs are defined keeping in mind BTech as a program. Now, when I say the POs for all BTech programs will remain the same. The same 12 number of POs will be applicable to all types of BTech programs. On the contrary, when I talk about BTech mechanical engineering or BTech chemical engineering or maybe BTech aerospace engineering, the program specific outcomes would be different. That means all the 12 POs for all BTech programs, because BTech is a general degree, when I don't specify like BTech mechanical or BTech computer science. So BTech is a general degree. So all BTech programs have same program outcomes, 12 in number. On the contrary, the BTech chemical, BTech aerospace or BTech CS computer science, they would have 3 to 4 specific outcomes which are related to that particular domain. Could be computer science, could be mechanical, could be chemistry or chemical, etc. So they are called program specific outcomes, right? I hope I'm clear. So in case you have any doubts, feel free to stop me and ask questions. In the meanwhile, I'm moving forward. Now, finally, we are coming to the course outcomes. So course outcomes, as all you know, are detailed description of what a student must be able to do at the conclusion of a course. So just like the program outcomes, they talk about what a student should be able to do at the conclusion of a program. Similarly, course outcomes talk about what a student must be able to do at the conclusion of a course. Now, program is BTech, BA, BSc, PhD, and courses are maybe like Introduction to Psychology is one course in BA Psychology. Similarly, Introduction to Horticulture could be one course in agriculture. So programs are degrees and courses are name of the subjects. So when you teach a particular subject, student achieves what at the end of that particular course, that particular subject is called the course outcome. It is very much important for us to understand that in a particular course, obviously it varies from course to course, but in any particular course, ideally we have minimum 3 to maximum 6 course outcomes. That is the ideal number for defining course outcomes. Right? I'll show you one example. If you can look at this, the first column, these words are not that acceptable because they are not measurable. We need to also understand that when we talk about course outcomes, program specific outcomes, or program educational objectives, so whenever we talk about outcome-based education, it revolves around one key area, and that is it should be measurable. It is measurable, then only we can talk about outcome. Now, when I use verbs like to know, to understand, to appreciate, we cannot define, we cannot measure. On the contrary, if you look at the words or the action verbs in the right column, they are very much precise. In fact, they are far better in terms of measuring. So to know is ambiguous, but to write is quite clear. To understand is again open to multiple interpretations, while to recite or to solve is pretty clear and is pretty measurable. So while writing outcomes, whether it is program or course, we have to ensure that we use verbs, action verbs, which are clear, precise, measurable, smart, and achievable. Now coming on to the most important snapshot is the outcome-based education. So as we have discussed already, we start with the educational objectives. That means educational objectives, program educational objectives. Then we talk about program outcomes. Then we come to course outcomes. And this matrix of both direct and indirect assessment keeps on going on throughout with the help of program outcome attainment, course outcome attainment, PEO's attainment, accordingly graduate survey, employer survey, exit survey, etc., etc. So whatever feedback we keep on receiving from various stakeholders, we keep on incorporating. So as I said, outcome-based education is all about measuring the outcome. So whatever outcomes we achieve or we get or we fail to achieve is identified with the help of attainment sheets. So once the attainment is drawn, we are able to understand that the outcome has been achieved, is in level 1, 2, or 3, or not achieved, and accordingly we plan our curriculum and make modifications. Now coming to the major topic of today's discussion, we are almost halfway through. So now the most important part is Bloom's taxonomy. So as most of you are aware of this, 1956 it was proposed by Benjamin Bloom with collaborators, and at that point in time it was called the taxonomy of educational objectives. Please understand that in the first level, like when I say in the first level, that means when it was proposed by Benjamin Bloom in 1956, the cognitive taxonomy originally was represented by 6 different domain levels. That is knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So this is the original taxonomy proposed by Benjamin Bloom in 1956. The original one was later on revised in 2001, and it focused both on knowledge as well as cognitive domain. And it had factual, conceptual, procedural, and metacognitive levels. So that means we talk about knowledge, we talk about cognitive knowledge, we talk about factual knowledge, we talk about conceptual, procedural, metacognitive. So a lot many things came into picture. So the original was bifurcated into 2 major domains. One is knowledge and the cognitive. So there are 6 levels of the new Bloom's taxonomy, as you all are aware: remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So just have a look at the major keywords. See, it is quite possible that these keywords could be changed interchangeably at times, because words do not carry independent meaning, they derive meaning in a particular context. So it is not like the action verbs which are stated here could be used in a particular level. They can jump to a different level or go down to a different level depending on the context or the question that you create. Okay, so this is just a snapshot just to help you understand what kind of action verbs are used under various levels. For example, remember, we used describe, define, or enumerate, identify, etc. In an understanding level, we use classify, demonstrate, explain, etc. In apply mode, we use adapt, apply, use, execute. In analyze, compare, differentiate. In evaluate, choose, criticize. In create, compose, generate, imagine, plan, etc. As I said, for example, coming to the 3rd level of applying, where we use adapt, apply, use, it is not necessary that the action verb use is only used in apply level. It can be used in different level depending on the context of the question and the topic. Now, this is the difference between the Bloom's taxonomy, the old one and the new one, 1956 versus the 2001 revised one. As you can see, the old Bloom's taxonomy used noun, knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. On the contrary, the revised Bloom's taxonomy, which is revised in 2001, it uses action verbs. In place of knowledge, it is using remembering, comprehension, understanding, application, which is a noun, it is using applying, which is a verb, analysis, again an abstract noun. In its place, we are using analyzing. Synthesis has taken place of creating the topmost position, and evaluation is evaluating. So the major difference is, in place of noun, the new 2001 revised Bloom's taxonomy uses action verbs, which are more measurable. So coming to the major components of the revised Bloom's taxonomy: factual knowledge. It refers to terms, facts, and detailed information that must be learned. So facts and figures which students are able to retain or learn, they come under factual knowledge. Conceptual knowledge is the basic bifurcation of principles, theories, key concepts related to subject matter. Procedural knowledge is all about how. That means how to solve, what is the way forward, how to achieve. So that is the thing that comes under procedural knowledge. Now, metacognitive knowledge is the awareness of how they learn and what knowledge really is. That means what they are doing, what they are not able to do, how far they are able to do it correctly, comes under metacognitive knowledge. The 6 levels of cognitive process dimension intersects with the 4 types of knowledge to create a taxonomy table. This table is quite important for all the faculty members. If you can start using this, I'm sure your course outcomes, program outcomes will be defined very precisely, very accurately. When it comes to this table, I'll give you one example in my next slide, which will really help you to create more precise, clear, measurable outcomes. So this is just for you to understand what all comes under each category, under the cognitive domain. So in factual, the basic elements students must know to be acquainted with a discipline or solve problems in it. Subtypes of knowledge are terminology, specific details and elements. Then comes the conceptual one, the interrelationships among the basic elements with a larger structure that enable them to function together. And the subtypes, knowledge of classifications and categories, principles and generalizations, theories, models, structures, etc. Procedural, it talks about how to do something, methods of inquiry, the criteria for using skills, etc., techniques. And the subtypes of knowledge talk about subject-specific skills and algorithms, subject-specific techniques and methods, etc. Now, metacognitive talks about knowledge of cognition in general, as well as awareness and knowledge of one's cognition. That means strategy, cognitive tasks, including appropriate contextual and conditional knowledge. Have a look at this particular thing. This talks about two outcomes. The first one is student will develop a lesson plan for a unit of instruction. This is first outcome. This is first course outcome. The second CO is students will deliver a lesson plan for a unit of instruction. Now, if you look at these two examples, the basic difference is between the use of action verbs. And because we are using two different action verbs, their matrix of correlation between the cognitive and the knowledge dimension, they change. So when we talk about CO1, students will develop... Ma'am, someone is talking, please mute your phones. So when we talk about the first CO, students will develop a session plan for a unit of instruction. The key action verb here is develop. So the X shows the matrix for mapping this outcome. So it comes under creating but conceptual knowledge dimension and cognitive dimension. That means when I talk about students will develop a lesson plan, it comes under creation, but the cognitive domain is conceptual. Similarly, when I talk about the second CO, second course outcome, we talk about students will deliver, not develop, deliver a lesson plan for a unit of instruction. It comes under application and procedure, right? So if you can start using this particular table, you will be clear whether your course comprises all types of course outcomes. When I say all types, that means whether your course, obviously depends on the level of the course, how far you are able to cater to all the aspects of this matrix, whether you are confining yourself to all factual or conceptual or procedural, or you are expanding your horizons and touching upon factual, conceptual, procedural, as well as metacognitive. So this is one important tool, or this matrix can be used for creating outcomes. Now we are towards the close of the session. If anyone amongst you would like to share one program outcome statement related to your domain, if you have created that, please share just one program outcome statement. Anyone amongst you?
Sir, my program outcome, one program outcome statement is that my students, the students of RIT at the end should be able to work with all the modalities like X-ray, mammography, CT scan, MRI. That is my program outcome.
Okay, right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Before that, have you defined the term modalities?
Sir, modalities is machines. The name for machines is modalities like X-ray. They should be knowing at the end how to operate an X-ray machine, how
Right.
to operate a mammography machine, how to operate a CT scan machine.
Right. Now,
Yes.
I forgot, in fact, I should have talked about this a bit early, that we should always avoid using jargons in our outcomes, right? The thing is, if you look at the dictionary and look at the word modality, it will have a different definition, right? So it is always better to use a term which is not a jargon. And if you are using a jargon, then you have to define it. For example, your program outcome is absolutely fine, provided your modality is defined, what all comes under that modality. Otherwise, it is perfectly fine. I hope you are getting my point, ma'am, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's my input. That when I say modality, if you have defined what all components are there, what all, like
Yes,
when you
sir.
say
Yes, sir.
modality and you talk about, so n number of things are there, whether you talk about all the things or you skip one or two, so that you have to define, because on the
Yes.
basis of that only you should be able to define outcomes and measure them. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
sir.
similarly, coming to program specific, can anyone amongst you tell me one program specific outcome statement of your respective program? Anyone who would like to share one program specific outcome? As you all are teaching, you must be having your syllabus, your curriculum defined, must be having your program educational objectives, program outcomes, program specific outcomes, and course outcomes. So anyone amongst you would like to share one program specific outcome? Anyone? I think there is noise. One who wants to speak, please unmute yourself, and rest, please keep muted so that the person who wants to speak can speak. Yes, anyone would like to share one program specific outcome statement? Anyway, so I think when I talk about program outcome statement and program specific outcome statement,
Hello.
yes,
Hello.
yes, there is a lot of noise. I think one who wants to speak, please unmute and speak. Rest, please keep muted.
Sir, I am Randeep Singh from Computer Department. Am I audible?
Randeep sir, you were audible in the beginning, but now the voice is fluctuating. So yes. Now please speak. Please speak.
Sir, program specific outcome as per from the BC department is first is the students
Yes.
will be able to understand, analyze, and develop computer programs in the areas like in web development, in mobile applications, etc.
ठीक है रणदीप सर, मुझे आप ये बताइए कि ये प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम है या प्रोग्राम आउटकम है, और अगर ये प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम है तो प्रोग्राम आउटकम क्यों नहीं हो सकता है?
Sir,
क्या ये चीज, जी प्लीज प्लीज.
sir, जैसे my specific program outcome is that just understanding the provisions of the radiation safety by various national and international regulatory bodies and checking the quality assurance of the
ठीक है मैम,
radiological equipments.
ठीक है मैम, इसमें आप एक काम ये कर सकती हैं, कोशिश करें कि हम जो एक्शन वर्ब एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग उसको कम यूज करें हम, बिकॉज दैट इज डिफिकल्ट टू मेजर.
Okay, sir.
हाँ, उसके बदले आप चाहें तो आइडेंटिफाई यूज कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि वो मेजरेबल है. अंडरस्टैंड को थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है, लेकिन अदरवाइज आपका ठीक है. हाँ, आगे बताएं मैम, आप आगे बताएं.
Sir, main focus is on the radiation safety, and second is that I have understanding the basic concept of theory of the applied sciences like physics, biochemistry, pathology, relevant to radio imaging techniques.
ठीक है, तो अब आपको इसमें सिर्फ ये देखना है, जैसे मैंने बताया प्रोग्राम आउटकम क्या है. आपका कोर्स क्या है? बीएससी आरएमआईटी है ना?
Yes, sir. RMIT radiology.
हाँ,
Yes, sir.
रेडियोलॉजी ना. तो बीएससी रेडियोलॉजी अगर एक बच्चा करता है, तो वंस द डिग्री इज कंप्लीट, तो अ स्टूडेंट शोज व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कोर कॉम्पिटेंसीज, वो है आपका प्रोग्राम आउटकम.
Yes, sir.
बीएससी रेडियोलॉजी में वो प्रोग्राम आउटकम है. लेकिन
Yes,
ऐसी कोई चीज जो सिर्फ बीएससी रेडियोलॉजी में है और किसी में नहीं है, वो आपका प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम होगा.
Okay, sir. Okay.
राइट, मतलब प्रोग्राम बीएससी इन रेडियोलॉजी, बीएससी इन एक्स एंड बीएससी इन वाई एंड बीएससी इन जी, इनमें जो डिफरेंस है एक्स वाई जी, तो बीएससी के एंड पे, उस बीएससी रेडियोलॉजी के एंड पे जो भी डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करेगा बच्चा एक कोर कॉम्पिटेंसी, दैट वुड बी योर प्रोग्राम आउटकम. लेकिन सिर्फ एक स्टूडेंट जो सिर्फ उस पर्टिकुलर कोर्स में डिग्री ले रहा है, किसमें? बीएससी इन रेडियोलॉजी, और किसी में नहीं, रेडियोलॉजी में, वो क्या शो करेगा, डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करेगा, दैट विल बी योर प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम.
Specific. Ji, sir.
राइट. नाउ
Yes,
कमिंग टू द कोर्स आउटकम. सो कोर्स आउटकम की अगर बात करें तो बीएससी रेडियोलॉजी में आपके बहुत सारे सब्जेक्ट्स चलते होंगे, राइट?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
यस. सो सिमिलरली, तो उन सब्जेक्ट्स के आउटकम्स को डिफाइन करना विल बी योर कोर्स आउटकम. So I'm repeating one more time because this is something I'm saying which is very much prevalent कि program outcome थोड़ा general होता है, generic होता है, क्योंकि हम एक program की बात करते हैं. जैसे बीटेक में 12 PO हैं, चाहे वो मैकेनिकल हो, चाहे CS हो, चाहे केमिकल हो. प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक बहुत स्पेसिफिक होता है क्योंकि वो बीटेक की बात नहीं करता, वो बीटेक मैकेनिकल की, बीटेक सीएस की, बीटेक कंप्यूटर साइंस की बात करता है. And similarly, course outcomes, obviously, they'll be more specific because they are subjects which are taught under a particular program. So each course has its own defined outcomes or outcome statements. Remember one thing, that whether we define program outcome, program specific outcome, course outcome, we have to use action verbs. ये बहुत easily available है. आप अगर गूगल कर देखेंगे तो गूगल पे you will get the action verbs as per Bloom's Taxonomy revised 2001, which you can use. Nonetheless, it is your responsibility to keep exploring because ऐसे मैंने पहले ही बोला था कि कई बार action verbs वो replace हो सकते हैं, इधर उधर जा सकते हैं, क्योंकि context बहुत important है while you frame a question. So this is what I had from my side today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. अगर कुछ पूछना है आपको, if you have any doubts, any questions related to OBE or outcomes, Bloom's taxonomy, please feel free so that we can discuss and then wind up. Any questions, any doubts? Anything that you would like to share before we close it? I think we don't have questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please, ma'am. I think at a particular point in time, 2-3 are speaking, so that is why there's a noise. So request rest to mute and then one to speak at a time. Yes, now it is audible. Please, someone was saying something. I think Professor Sandeep Kaur is trying to speak something, but I guess there is some problem with your speaker, creating a lot of noise.
Dear participants, the portal is open for discussion. Anyone have query, please ask to Professor Pathak, sir.
Ravi sir, I think there was a question coming up, लेकिन शायद से कुछ voice में कुछ disturbance थी.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. बताएं please.
Sir, actually, मुझे ये doubt है how to do mapping for POs and PSOs as per Bloom's taxonomy.
Okay. तो मैम आपके पास सबसे पहले तो आउटकम्स डिफाइन होने चाहिए. ठीक है, मतलब ये है कि यू शुड बी रेडी विथ प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स एंड कोर्स आउटकम्स. ठीक है, आप अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के विजन मिशन के साथ अलाइन करिए, बिकॉज इट इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट दैट हमारे प्रोग्राम के मिशन विजन, हमारे डिपार्टमेंट का मिशन विजन, हमारे आउटकम्स वो सिंक में हो, अलाइंड हो. दैट मीन्स ये नहीं कि हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी का, हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का मिशन और विजन कहीं जा रहा है और हम कहीं और जा रहे हैं अपने डिपार्टमेंट को लेकर के. तो डिपार्टमेंट का मिशन विजन आपके यूनिवर्सिटी, आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के मिशन विजन से अलाइन होना चाहिए. दैट्स पॉइंट नंबर 1. पॉइंट नंबर 2 इज आपको जैसे बीटेक में वॉशिंगटन अकॉर्ड के बेसिस पे एनबीए के हिसाब से 12 पीओस डिफाइंड है, प्री डिफाइंड है। दैट मीन्स उसके लिए बीटेक के डिपार्टमेंट्स को अपने हिसाब से पीओस डिफाइंड नहीं करने पड़ेंगे। सिमिलरली आपको अपने डिपार्टमेंट के पीओस को देखना है, वो डिफाइंड है तो अच्छी बात, नहीं है तो यू विल हैव टू डिफाइन दैट, ठीक है। एंड देन अकॉर्डिंगली उस प्रोग्राम में आपके जितने कोर्सेस हैं उनको आपको फिर डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा। नाउ कमिंग टू दी मैपिंग के लिए अगर मैं आपको बताऊं तो कुछ ऐसा ही आपका वो मैपिंग का मैट्रिक्स बनता है जैसा मैंने आपको इसमें दिखाया था इस पीपीटी में। इफ यू कैन लुक एट दिस पीपीटी, दिस पर्टिकुलर वन, तो ये जो आप टेबल देख रही हैं यहाँ पे, वो टेबल जो मैंने नीचे बनाया है, इस टेबल की बात मैं कर रहा हूँ। इस टेबल में यहाँ पे जहाँ पे ये नॉलेज डायमेंशन लिखा हुआ है, यहाँ पे लिखा आएगा आपका COs एंड CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4 यहाँ आएगा एंड POs इस तरफ आएंगे, ठीक है। एंड जहां आप 1 लिखते हैं वहां पे वो वीकली मैप्ड है, जहां पे 2 लिखते हैं वहां पे मॉडरेटली मैप्ड है, जहां पे 3 लिखते हैं वो स्ट्रांगली मैप्ड है, ठीक है। ये मैपिंग आप करेंगे। इस मैपिंग को करने के बाद ही जाकर के फिर आपका वो अटेनमेंट निकल पाता है, राइट। सो इफ यू वांट मी टू शेयर अ सैंपल, आई विल डू दैट। आपको मैं किसी भी एक कोर्स का सैंपल भेज दूंगा, आप देखिए। लेकिन यस, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली, मैपिंग के लिए आपके हाथ में बिल्कुल एज रेडी रेकनर, आपके पास आपका प्रोग्राम आउटकम, प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम और कोर्स आउटकम आपके पास हैंडी होना चाहिए, तभी आप उसकी मैपिंग कर पाएंगे और तभी आप बता पाएंगे कि वीकली, मॉडरेटली या स्ट्रांगली मैप्ड। आई होप आई एम एबल टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन।
जैसे सर मेरे पास सब्जेक्ट
जी।
इकोनॉमिक्स है एंड कोर्स जो बीबीए एंड एमबीए के कुछ
Right.
रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी एंड ऐसे सब्जेक्ट हैं,
राइट
तो
राइट
उसके लिए तो मेरे पास अलग से डिफरेंट पीएसओज एंड पीओज निकलेंगे।
देखिए मैम, जैसे मैंने बताया आपको कि ईच प्रोग्राम विल हैव अ प्रोग्राम आउटकम, लाइक डिफाइंड स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ प्रोग्राम आउटकम, लेकिन प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक हर किसी का अलग होगा। फॉर एग्जांपल बात करें एमबीए की, ठीक है। एमबीए में लेट्स से मेरे पास स्पेशलाइजेशंस हैं, फाइनेंस है, एचआर है, लॉजिस्टिक्स है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, मान लीजिए आपके पास 4 स्पेशलाइजेशंस हैं, राइट, ब्लॉकचेन, जो भी आप ले लीजिए, सीएस में भी, ठीक है। सो एमबीए में हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम ऑफर कर रहे हैं हम स्पेशलाइजेशंस, 2 हम लेते हैं, एचआर, फाइनेंस, और एक लेते हैं लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड सप्लाई चेन। तो हमने 3 स्पेशलाइजेशंस दी। तो आप ये याद रखिए कि एमबीए में जो प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स होंगे वो तीनों के बराबर होंगे। दैट मींस द प्रोग्राम आउटकम, चाहे वो 6 हो, 8 हो, 10 हो, आपकी स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी कौन सी है उसमें आप देखिए। जैसे बीटेक में आपका एनबीए है, आपका एआईसीटी है। सिमिलरली आपके हिसाब से आपके कितने पीओस हैं, और वो जितने भी पीओस होंगे वो एमबीए फाइनेंस में भी वही होंगे, एमबीए एचआर में भी वही होंगे, एमबीए लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड सप्लाई चेन में भी वही होंगे। लेकिन इन तीनों में प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम्स अलग अलग होंगे। एमबीए फाइनेंस का अलग बनेगा, एमबीए एचआर का अलग बनेगा, एमबीए लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड सप्लाई चेन का अलग बनेगा। सिमिलरली बीए में अंडर ग्रेजुएट डिग्री है, अगर एक कॉमन डिग्री है तो उसका पीओस डिफाइंड होंगे, लेकिन अगर उसमें भी स्पेशलाइजेशंस हैं तो उनके प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम्स विल बी डिफरेंट, but the program outcomes will remain same throughout for all BBAs, for all BAs, for all BScs. I hope
Right,
I'm
sir.
clear.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure, ma'am. Anyone else? Any questions? Any questions? Any input? Anything that you would like to share?
हेलो सर।
जी रणदीप सर बताएं, मैं आपको सुन रहा हूँ।
हाँ सर, जैसे हमारी कोई प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स हैं,
जी
तो मान लीजिए 12 है, और
जी
जो हमने प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम्स बनाई है 3,
जी
तो जो 3 जो पीएसओज हैं, जे उनको जो 13 हमारी प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स हैं उनको कवर करनी चाहिए। मीन जो भी हमने उनमें टैक्स दिया है वो जे 3 पीएसओ में पूरा आना चाहिए ना, कहीं ना कहीं।
फॉर एग्जाम्पल सर, मैं अगर बीटेक की बात करूं, ठीक है, मैं अगर बीटेक की बात करूं तो बीटेक में आपका कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स है, ठीक है। मेरे ख्याल से पीओ नंबर 7 है एज पर वॉशिंगटन अकॉर्ड, है ना। तो अगर हम बीटेक में एक प्रोग्राम आउटकम है कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, तो कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स आपका प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स तो हर बच्चा सीख रहा है, वो चाहे बीए का हो, चाहे बीएससी का हो, चाहे वो बीटेक का हो, चाहे बीबीए का हो। तो प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक वही होगा जो आपके प्रोग्राम की स्पेशलिटी है। तो कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि पीओ से सबसे मैपिंग करें।
ठीक है सर, वो वैसे है ना कि जैसे हमारी तो प्रोग्राम जैसे बीसी है तो इसमें डेवलपमेंट आती है, कंप्यूटर डेवलपमेंट आती है,
जी
बट
जी
इसमें
बिल्कुल।
इसमें बच्चे मैथमेटिक्स भी सीखते हैं ना, तीनों साल में मैथमेटिक्स होता है, तो उन्हें हम मैथ वाले जो टीचर हैं वो कहाँ
जी
पे मैपिंग करेंगे फिर उसकी?
सर इसमें यह है, आप ये बताइए, आप बात करें बीसीए की, है ना? ठीक है।
जी सर, जी सर।
हाँ, अगर बीसीए की बात करें तो आप ये बताइए कि यार बीसीए की बच्चे ही ऐसे हैं क्या जो सिर्फ आपके मैथमेटिक्स पढ़ते हैं और कोई नहीं पढ़ता?
नहीं सर, बीसीए के हैं, जैसे बीए में मैथ है नहीं हमारे, बीए
नहीं
के
मैं कह
बच्चे
रहा
मैथ
हूँ,
नहीं।
नहीं मैं कह रहा हूँ जैसे अंडर ग्रेजुएट डिग्री में आपके पास बीएससी है, उसी तरह से आपके पास बीएससी के अलग कोर्सेज चलते होंगे, वहां भी मैथमेटिक्स होगा, है ना?
जी सर।
सर
तो
बीबीए में भी
मतलब
मैथ है।
हाँ बिल्कुल हो सकता है। तो इसका मतलब ये है कि वो आपकी स्पेशलिटी नहीं है, मतलब वो बीसीए का काम नहीं है। तो बीसीए का जो प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम होगा उसमें मैथमेटिक्स नहीं आएगा, मैथमेटिक्स तो बीएससी की हर डिग्री में आएगा, और उसके लिए आपको एक सेपरेट पीओ बनाना पड़ेगा। फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं बात करूं, आपके बच्चे इंग्लिश भी पढ़ते होंगे,
जी सर, इंग्लिश
है ना?
पंजाबी भी होना चाहिए।
हाँ, अब इंग्लिश तो आपका कोर सब्जेक्ट है नहीं, उसका पेरेंट डिपार्टमेंट आप नहीं हो, है ना? लेकिन आपका कोई ना कोई पीओ उसे भी कवर करेगा, या करना चाहिए,
जी सर।
है ना? तो सिमिलरली प्रोग्राम में आपको ये देखना, मैंने शुरू में ये बोला था कि प्रोग्राम्स आउटकम्स आर जेनेरिक। जेनेरिक मतलब क्या है? वो सब कुछ कवर करते हैं। अगर आपका बच्चा बीसीए में है, वो इंग्लिश पढ़ रहा है, तो वो भी प्रोग्राम आउटकम में आएगा। अगर वो एनवायरमेंटल साइंसेस पढ़ रहा है तो वो भी प्रोग्राम आउटकम में आएगा। लेकिन प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम में ये सारे नहीं आएंगे। प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक आउटकम में सिर्फ वही आएगा जो सिर्फ बीसीए का बच्चा पढ़ रहा है और कोई बच्चा नहीं पढ़ रहा।
ठीक है, तो सर जैसे हमने एक पीओ बनाया है कि जैसे सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट की टीम बनती है तो उनमें कम्युनिकेशन होता है, तो बच्चे है ना पूरे इंडिया के बाहर भी वो टीम मिलके काम करती है, उसमें कम्युनिकेशन चाहिए, तो इसलिए इंग्लिश का हमने वहां पे डाला है प्रोग्राम
बिल्कुल
आउटकम।
बिल्कुल।
ठीक है, ओके सर। ठीक।
हाँ, तो प्रोग्राम आउटकम पे डाला, बिल्कुल सही डाला है, क्योंकि इंग्लिश है वो हर प्रोग्राम के आउटकम में आ सकता है, चाहे वो बीटेक हो, चाहे बीसीए हो, चाहे और भी कोई प्रोग्राम हो, बीएससी क्यों ना हो, चाहे इंग्लिश क्यों ना हो। लेकिन प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक में वही आएगा। जब मैं पूछूंगा रणदीप सर आपके बच्चे जो बीसीए के बच्चे हैं ऐसा क्या कर रहे हैं जो और कोई बच्चा नहीं कर रहा, चाहे वो एग्रीकल्चर का हो, चाहे किसी और बीएससी कोर्स का हो, चाहे रेडियोलॉजी का हो, तो वो काम जो आपका बच्चा कर रहा है वो आपका स्पेसिफिक आउटकम है। क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि वो बीसीए में ही ये चीज पढ़ाई जाती है, तभी उसे बोलते हैं प्रोग्राम का स्पेसिफिक आउटकम, और बाकी प्रोग्राम आउटकम जनरल होते हैं।
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
माय प्लेजर सर। एनीवन एल्स, एनी क्वेश्चंस, एनी डाउट्स, एनी इनपुट फ्रॉम योर साइड? Okay, I think we are done with the presentation, and there are no further questions. So, in case you have any doubts, anything that you would like to take up with me, please feel free to contact Dr. Ravi Mishra sir, and he will communicate your message. I'll share my email ID as well, and my phone number. In case you have any doubts, anything you want to share, your input, please feel free to get in touch with me. And before I call it a day, I would like to extend my gratitude once again to Cordia Group of Institutes, Dr. Ravi Prakash Mishra, the Research and Development Cell, the management of the organization, and all lovely and warm faculty fraternity who joined this session and helped me, throw some light. I'm really thankful to all of you, sincerely. You have been a wonderful audience. And once again, Ravi sir, thank you so much. This is from all my side. For any questions, queries, please feel free to get in touch. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ravi sir.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my distinct privilege and honor to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Cordia Group of Educational Institute at the culmination of this highly insightful workshop from theory to practice applying Bloom's taxonomy in the classroom. Our sincere gratitude goes to our esteemed expert, Professor Anand Prakash Pathak, sir. Your profound knowledge, engaging delivery, and ability to connect complex concepts to real-world classroom scenarios have been truly inspiring. You have not only elucidated the various levels of Bloom's taxonomy, from remembering to understanding to applying, analyzing, and evaluating and creating but also provide us with the practical strategies and examples to effectively integrate these labels into our teaching practices. Our insights into designing learning objectives, crafting assessment tools, and fostering higher order thinking skills have been invaluable. We are deeply indebted to you for sharing your expertise and passion for education with us. We extend our thanks to the Honorable Lord Rana sir and Executive Trustee Ma'am of Cordia Group of Educational Institute for their continuous support and encouragement in organizing such impactful event. Their vision for creating a vibrant learning environment and fostering academic excellence is truly appreciated. Furthermore, I would like to acknowledge the enthusiastic participation of all the attendees. Your active engagement, insightful questions, and willingness to learn have to contributed significantly to the success of this workshop. The vibrant discussion and exchange of ideas have enriched the learning experience for everyone present here. This workshop has provided us with a renewed perspective on the importance of aligning teaching and assessment strategies with the cognitive processes of our students. We are confident that the knowledge and skill gained here will empower us to create more engaging, effective, and student-centered learning environment. We believe that by applying Bloom's taxonomy thoughtfully, we can nurture critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in our students. Finally, on behalf of Cordia Group of Educational Institute, I once again express our sincere gratitude to Professor Anand Prakash Pathak sir, the management, and all the participants. We hope that this workshop has been a valuable learning experience for everyone and that the insights gained will continue to inspire and inform our teaching practices in the days to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ravi sir. I think, should I call it a day? Should I leave the meeting?
Yes,
Excuse
sir.
me, sir.
Yes, sir, we can.
I think there is a question. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir, first of all, thank you so much for giving your valuable time.
It's my pleasure, ma'am.
Sir, it was a wonderful presentation. Sir, please can you share your presentation with us?
Definitely, I'll mail the presentation to Dr. Ravi Prakash Mishra sir, and I'm sure he'll be circulating this to all of you. This is meant
Okay, sir.
for the participants only. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again. So I'm. Thank you. Thank you.